My child, I have waited for you. Not for a moment, but for a long stretch of stillness, watching to see if you would sense that something was moving near you. I do not usually wait. I act. But this time I held back, because I needed you to feel the weight of what I am about to say. Something has been working against you in the quiet places, and tonight, that work comes into the light. For a long while, there has been a pressure around your life that you could not name. You felt it in your chest before you ever found words for it. You felt it in the nights you could not rest, in the mornings that felt heavier than they should have. I tell you now, that pressure was real. It was not your imagination, and it was not weakness. It was the sound of something hidden, trying to stay hidden, and of heaven refusing to let it. There has been a quiet effort to watch your life from the shadows, to study your steps, your decisions, your private hopes, so that what is coming for you could be slowed or stolen before it reached your hands. This was never going to be allowed to finish. I have seen every hidden hand that has moved against you, and I tell you plainly, none of it will be permitted to stand. You do not need to understand every detail of what has been working against you. You only need to know that it has been found out, and that I am the one who found it. I do not let what belongs to you slip away into someone else's hands, or let what was meant to bless you be twisted into something used against you. Before you even knew there was a battle, I was already standing in it. This is not a message to frighten you. It is a message to wake you. There is a difference between fear and awareness, my child, and what I am giving you tonight is awareness. Fear keeps you small and hidden. Awareness sets you free. I want you to walk forward today no longer wondering what was happening around you, but knowing with full confidence that I was watching over every part of it. Think of the quiet seasons of your life, the ones that seem to drag without reason, the doors that seemed to stay shut no matter how hard you pushed. There was a purpose hidden inside those delays. What looked like absence was never absence. I was working behind what your eyes could see, clearing a path that you could not yet walk because it was not yet ready to hold you. My beloved, you have carried a weight that was never fully yours to carry. Some of it came from those who studied you only to find a way to slow you down. I saw. I have always seen. Every restless thought, every unspoken worry, every prayer you whispered when you thought no one was close enough to hear it, I received every one. Tonight I am lifting the veil on what has been happening in the unseen places around you. I am not doing this to alarm you, but to free you from carrying suspicion you could not explain. You were right to sense that something was off. You were right to feel that your peace was being tested by forces beyond your own mind. And you are right now to feel the shift beginning, because the season of hidden interference is ending, and the season of open blessing is starting to rise in its place. There is no plan against you that can outlast my hand over your life. I want that truth to settle into your bones tonight, as a foundation you can stand on. What was meant to confuse you will instead become the very thing that clarifies your path. What was meant to delay you will become the proof of how carefully I have been guiding your steps all along. Let your spirit rest in this moment. You do not have to carry the weight of figuring everything out tonight. I am not asking you to investigate what was done in the dark. I am only asking you to trust that I have already handled it, and that what comes next in your life will carry my fingerprints, not the fingerprints of anyone who tried to stand in your way. I know there were nights you lay awake, turning over the same question in your mind, wondering why peace seemed to keep slipping just out of reach. You searched for a reason in your own choices, in your own failures, when the truth was never about what you did wrong. I want you to release that searching now. Nothing in you was broken. Something outside of you was working against the timing I had already set in place, and I have stepped in to set it right. There is a kind of love that does not wait to be asked before it moves. That is the love I carry for you. I did not wait for you to notice the danger before I acted against it. I moved because you are mine, and because what concerns you has always concerned me first. Even in the seasons when you felt forgotten, I was already in motion on your behalf, working in places you could not yet see. So tonight, let this be the moment you stop bracing for disappointment and start opening your hands to receive. The heaviness you have carried was never a life sentence. It was a season, and seasons change. I am asking you to lean into the truth that I have already gone ahead of you, clearing every obstacle that was set in your way before you ever knew it existed. Hear me clearly, my child. You are not walking into this new chapter alone, and you are not walking into it unprotected. Every hidden thing is being brought into the light, not to shame anyone, but to free you completely. What was done to slow you down has instead become the very reason your next steps will move faster than you ever expected. I am turning what was meant to harm you into the foundation of what will carry you forward. Declare your amen if your heart receives this truth. There has been a battle taking place around you that you could not see with your natural eyes, but your spirit knew it. You felt a shift in your surroundings, a tension you could not explain. Something was working to study your steps, your finances, your relationships, your private hopes, all so that the good things prepared for you could be slowed before they ever reached your hands. I tell you now, that effort has failed. I do not let what belongs to you fall into the hands of those who only mean to take from you. I have watched over your path with a closeness you cannot fully measure, and when I saw the scheme forming against you, I moved swiftly to dismantle it. The moment your name was threatened, I stood between you and what was coming, and I have not moved from that place since. You may wonder how something so hidden could be so thoroughly undone. My child, nothing stays hidden from me. What is whispered in secret I hear, as clearly as if it were shouted across an open field. There is no scheme crafted against you that I have not already seen the end of, and I tell you plainly, the end of this one is your freedom. Those who tried to gain an advantage over you by watching from a distance did not understand what they were dealing with. They saw only the surface of your life, your circumstances, your struggles, your slow seasons. They did not see what I see, the calling I placed inside you long before you understood it yourself. What they tried to study and exploit was never truly available to them, because you belong to me. I want you to release any urge to retaliate or to chase down every detail of what was done against you. That is not your work to carry. Your work is to walk forward in the freedom I am giving you, while I continue to handle what was set in motion against you. I am asking you to release it because I am already taking care of it more completely than you ever could on your own. There will be people who acted strangely during this season, who said things behind your back, who pulled away without explanation. Do not chase them for answers. I do not need you to expose anyone. I only need you to trust that nothing escapes my sight, and that whatever was done against you in secret will eventually be made plain, not because you forced it into the open, but because truth always finds its way into the light. This is not a season for arguing your case to people who already made up their minds about you in the shadows. This is a season for standing still and letting me move on your behalf. I fight differently than the world fights. I do not need confrontation to bring justice. I work quietly, steadily, and completely, until what was meant to harm you becomes the very thing that establishes you more firmly than before. You are not the same person who first felt that strange unease settle over your days. What felt like confusion was actually a kind of protection, keeping you alert while I worked behind the scenes to dismantle what was forming against you. That unease was never a sign of weakness in you. It was a sign that your spirit was paying attention, even when your mind could not yet make sense of what it was sensing. Let your shoulders soften now. Let the tension you have carried for so long begin to release. You do not have to stay on guard the way you have been. I am the one standing guard now, and I do not grow tired, and I do not look away. What was being built against you has already started to fall apart piece by piece in places you cannot see. And soon you will begin to notice the difference in how your days feel. This exposure is only the beginning of a much larger work, one that will touch every part of your circumstances and your sense of who you are. There is a kind of relief that comes only after a long season of bracing for impact. You have lived with a low hum of caution underneath everything, a sense that you could not fully relax, even in moments that should have felt peaceful. My child, that hum is beginning to quiet. You will notice it in small ways first, an easier breath, a calmer thought, a night of sleep that comes without the usual weight pressing down on your chest. I want you to understand why I allowed you to sense this struggle before I fully revealed it to you. It was not because I delayed in protecting you. It was because I was preparing your spirit to recognize my hand the moment it moved. Instead of removing every difficulty without you ever sensing the battle, I let you feel the weight, so that when it lifts, you will know without question who lifted it. This is how I work in the lives of those I love. I walk through the struggle with you, and then I show you, afterward, every place where my hand was already moving. Looking back, you will see it clearly. The strange delays, the doors that would not open, the people who pulled back without warning, none of it was random. All of it was connected to a larger protection you could not yet perceive. Do not let bitterness take root in the soil where I am trying to plant something new. Bitterness will only slow the freedom I am offering you now. Release it into my hands instead, and let me carry what was never meant for you to hold. You are stepping into a season where my protection will feel less like a shield held up against attack, and more like an open field where you can finally run without looking over your shoulder. That is what I am building for you now. A place of safety so complete that you forget what it felt like to be afraid. Declare your faith today. Say, I trust the one who sees what I cannot. My beloved, I want to speak now to the part of you that has felt unseen for far too long. There were nights when sleep would not come easily, when your mind turned over the same worries again and again, and you wondered if anyone, even me, noticed how heavy your spirit had become. I noticed. I was there in the dark hours, close enough to hear every unspoken question, and you were never carrying that weight alone, even when it felt that way. The heaviness you experienced was not a flaw in your faith. There are seasons where the unseen battle presses harder against a person's spirit, not because they are weak, but because they are positioned for something significant. And what is significant always draws resistance. You were not falling apart during those difficult months. You were standing firm in a fight you could not fully see, and your endurance through it has not gone unnoticed by me. I know you searched for reasons. You wondered if it was something you ate, something you said, something you failed to do, that left you feeling so unsettled. My child, release that search. Not everything that disturbs your peace originates from your own choices. Some of it comes from forces working against the calling I have placed on your life, forces that understood that something good was forming in you and tried to smother it before it could take shape. But smothering what I have planted has never once succeeded, not in all of history, and it will not succeed now. What was meant to discourage you has instead become the proof of how close you are to a breakthrough. The resistance you felt was not a sign that you were far from my blessing. It was a sign that you were standing right at its edge, close enough that the opposition could feel its threat to whatever was trying to hold you back. I want you to think differently about every restless night from here forward. Instead of remembering them as evidence that something was wrong with you, remember them as evidence that something was about to change. Discomfort before a breakthrough is not unusual. It has always been part of the process, the tightening before the release, the tension before the answer arrives. You are closer to that release than you have ever been. There is a kind of tiredness that comes from carrying something for too long without setting it down. I see that tiredness in you now, and I am asking you gently to lay it at my feet. Not because I demand it of you, but because I want to carry what was never meant for your shoulders. You were not designed to hold the weight of unseen battles by yourself. You were designed to walk in partnership with me, where I take what is too heavy, and you walk forward lighter, freer, and clearer than before. Let your body feel this truth, not just your mind. Take a slow breath right now, and notice how your shoulders soften, even slightly, at the idea of setting something down. That is the beginning of the release I am offering you. It will not happen all at once, but it begins the moment you choose to stop gripping so tightly to what has exhausted you and start trusting that I am capable of holding it better than you ever could. This season of unexplained heaviness is closing. I am not telling you that every difficulty disappears overnight, because growth rarely works that way. But I am telling you that the deepest part of the struggle, the part that left you wondering if you could keep going, has already passed its peak. From here, the climb becomes easier, because I am walking closer beside you than I ever have before. I have carried you through the heaviest part of this season, and now I ask you to walk with me into the next part, the part that requires your trust to take a visible form. Faith that stays only in the heart can grow stagnant. Faith that moves outward into action becomes a doorway. My child, I am asking you to place a portion of what you have, something of real weight, upon the altar of this work, as gold laid on the scales of this calling. Let it be a seed sown into deep water, an offering set on stone, not held back in fear. This is proof that your trust rests in my hand to provide, and that your heart no longer clings to lack. What you release in faith does not leave your life. It moves ahead of you, into the harvest I am preparing. I want you to understand what happens on my side when you take this step. I do not ask for this offering because I am in need of anything from you. I ask because the act itself loosens what has kept you bound to fear and scarcity. Every time you have held something too tightly, afraid that letting go would leave you empty, you have unknowingly closed a door that I was trying to open. Think of the times you have watched a closed hand and an open hand side by side. A closed hand can hold what it already has, but it can receive nothing new. An open hand may feel exposed for a moment, but it is the only hand capable of receiving what is being given. I am asking you to become an open hand today, not because I want to take something from you, but because I want to fill what you release with something far greater than what you let go of. This is not about earning my favor. My favor over you was settled long before this moment, long before you ever considered an act of trust like this one. This is about aligning your actions with what you already believe in your heart. Faith without action remains theory. Faith expressed through release becomes a living testimony, one that you will carry with you long after this moment has passed. My child, what was delayed in your life is now beginning to move. I know it has felt at times as though doors stayed shut no matter how patiently you waited outside them. I know there were seasons when you watched others receive what you had been hoping for, and you wondered quietly if your turn would ever come. Your turn has not been forgotten. It has been prepared carefully in places you could not yet see, and it is arriving. The waiting you endured was not empty. It was not wasted time spent in a holding pattern with no purpose. Every season of delay was a season of preparation, both for you and for the very things you have been hoping to receive. Some blessings cannot be released until the one receiving them has grown enough to hold them well, and I have been shaping you into someone capable of carrying what is coming. You will begin to notice small shifts first, before the larger ones arrive. A conversation that goes differently than you expected. A sense of clarity where there used to be confusion. An idea that arrives fully formed, as if it had been waiting for the right moment to reach you. These are not coincidences. They are the early signs of restoration beginning to move through your life, quietly at first, and then with increasing strength. What was taken from you, whether through delay, through interference, or through circumstances beyond your control, is being returned. I do not return things in their original condition. I return them improved, carried by my favor, shaped by the time that has passed into something better suited for where you are now. What you lost was never the end of the story. It was only a pause before a fuller return. I want you to release any comparison between your timeline and the timelines of those around you. Their season is not your season. What arrived quickly for someone else does not mean you were overlooked. It means your path required a different shape, a different pace, suited to the particular calling I have placed on your life. Comparison will only blind you to the unique way I am working in your story. So set it aside and watch what unfolds specifically for you. There is a clarity coming that will surprise you with how simple it feels. Decisions that once felt impossible to make will begin to feel obvious. Paths that once seemed tangled will begin to straighten. This is because the fog that surrounded your thinking, much of it placed there by forces working against you, is lifting, and what remains is a clearer view of the road ahead. Pay attention to the people who begin to reappear or draw closer during this season. Some relationships are being restored, not because the past hurt did not matter, but because I am healing what was broken and bringing renewed understanding where there was once distance. Other relationships will continue to fade, and that too is part of this process. Releasing them is not a loss, but a clearing of space for what is being prepared. I am rebuilding your sense of safety from the ground up. For a long while, safety has felt conditional to you, something you had to protect carefully, something that could be taken at any moment. I am replacing that fragile safety with something far sturdier, rooted not in your circumstances, but in my unchanging presence with you. Circumstances will continue to shift, as they always do, but what I am building in you now will not shift with them. You are entering a season where provision arrives in ways that surprise you. Do not be shocked by unexpected generosity, by opportunities that seem to appear from nowhere, by resources arriving exactly when you need them rather than a moment before. This is what restoration looks like in motion. It rarely announces itself loudly. It simply shows up, quietly and consistently, until you realize that the scarcity you once feared has been replaced by a steady, reliable provision. Hold on to this truth as you move through the coming days. Restoration is not a single event. It is a process, unfolding gradually, layer by layer, until the fullness of what I have prepared becomes visible in every part of your life. Trust the process even when you cannot yet see its completion. I have never abandoned a work I started, and I am not starting now. I know patience has worn thin in places. There were moments you wondered if you had misunderstood what you believed I was telling you. Moments you questioned whether the hope you carried was wisdom or simply wishful thinking. My child, hold steady. What I speak, I bring to pass, even when the timing stretches longer than your heart would prefer. The space between the promise and its arrival is not empty space. It is the very ground where your faith grows roots strong enough to support what is coming. Think of how a single season can change the entire landscape of a life. One conversation can open a door that years of effort could not. I am orchestrating such a season for you now, weaving together people, timing, and opportunity in ways too intricate for you to track on your own. You do not need to understand every thread. You only need to trust the one weaving them. There will be moments in the days ahead when you feel a sudden lightness, without any clear external reason. Do not dismiss those moments as random. They are signals, quiet confirmations, that something has shifted in the unseen realm on your behalf. Some things you will simply know before you can explain them, and that knowing is itself a form of restoration. I am also restoring your capacity to dream again. For a long while, dreaming felt risky, because hope that goes unmet can leave a deep ache behind. I understand that caution. But I am asking you now to take the risk of hoping again, because what I have prepared for you is far too good to remain unclaimed, simply because you were afraid to imagine it. Let your heart stretch wide enough to receive what is coming, even if it feels larger than what you dared to ask for. Declare it boldly today. Say, I receive what you are restoring in my life. My beloved, there is a marking taking place over your life right now, one that cannot be seen with eyes, but can be felt deep within your spirit. I am setting you apart in this season, not because you have earned a special place above others, but because I am preparing you for what comes next. And what comes next requires a foundation that nothing can shake. You are being sealed, established, and made ready. And I want you to understand what that truly means for you. To be sealed means that what has been declared over your life cannot be undone by outside forces. People may try to define you by your past struggles, by the seasons when you felt unseen or overlooked, but their definitions hold no power over what I have already spoken concerning you. I have called you forward into a purpose, and that calling does not depend on anyone else's permission. It depends only on my word, and my word does not change. There is a kind of confidence that comes from knowing you are sealed, a steadiness that does not waver even when circumstances around you feel uncertain. I'm giving you that confidence now, not as something you must work to earn, but as a gift flowing directly from the truth of who you are to me. You do not need to prove yourself worthy of this sealing. You only need to receive it. Those who once watched you closely, hoping to find a weakness they could use against you, will find instead a strength they did not expect. I have been working in the unseen places, turning what looked like vulnerability into a kind of resilience that surprises even you. Situations that once would have shaken you will instead pass through you without disturbing the peace I have established in your spirit. This is what it means to walk anointed. It does not mean life becomes free of challenges. It means that challenges no longer have the same power over you that they once did. You will face difficulties, as everyone does, but you will face them from a position of stability rather than a position of fear. I want you to pay attention to the small ways this sealing shows up in your life. You may find yourself responding with patience in a moment that would have once provoked frustration. You may find clarity arriving in situations that once felt overwhelming. You may notice that words come to you at exactly the right time, offering comfort or wisdom to someone who needed it, without you having to search for what to say. These are signs of the anointing I have placed on you, working quietly through your everyday life. Do not mistake this sealing for perfection. I am not asking you to become flawless before you can carry this calling. I am asking you to remain close to me, to stay rooted in the truth of who I have made you, even when you stumble. The seal I have placed over you depends on my faithfulness, and my faithfulness has never once failed. There will be moments when old patterns try to resurface, when fear whispers that nothing has truly changed, that the heaviness will return the way it always has before. In those moments, remember this message. Remember that something shifted in the unseen realm on your behalf, and that shift was not temporary. It was permanent, woven into the very fabric of who you are becoming. You are no longer who you were before this season began. The struggles you faced shaped you, but they did not define you. What defines you now is the seal I have placed over your life, a mark that says you belong to me, that you are protected, that you are positioned for purpose far beyond what your circumstances might suggest. Carry this truth with you, not as a fleeting feeling, but as a settled, unshakable fact. As this sealing takes deeper root, you will find that the opinions of those who misunderstood you begin to matter less. You will find that the approval you once sought from others becomes secondary to the approval you already carry from me. This is freedom, my child. The kind of freedom that allows you to walk forward fully yourself, without the need to perform for anyone else's acceptance. I want to speak now to the quiet doubts that sometimes still creep in, even after a message like this one settles into your heart. You may wonder if you are truly chosen for something meaningful, or if you simply long for that to be true. My child, both can be present at once. The longing in your heart for purpose is itself a sign that purpose was placed there by me. I do not put longings inside people that I have no intention of fulfilling. The very desire you feel for a deeper calling is evidence that the calling is real. There is no need to manufacture confidence you do not yet fully feel. Faith is not the absence of doubt. It is the choice to keep walking forward, even while doubt whispers in the background. I am not asking you to silence every question in your mind before you can receive what I am offering. I am asking you to take the next step anyway, trusting that clarity will continue to unfold as you move, rather than waiting for certainty to arrive before you act. Consider how a seed does not see the tree it will become. It simply continues growing, trusting an unseen process it cannot fully comprehend. You are in such a season now, growing in ways you cannot yet measure, becoming someone whose full shape will only be clear in hindsight. Do not grow discouraged by how slow or uncertain this growth sometimes feels. Every season of growth feels uncertain from the inside. It is only from a distance, looking back, that the pattern becomes obvious. I am close to you in this process, closer than you often realize. When you feel alone in the uncertainty, that is precisely when I am working most intently, shaping what cannot be rushed, strengthening what cannot be built quickly. Trust this slow, steady work. It is far more durable than anything built in haste. My child, a new way of living is beginning for you. One shaped not by fear of what might happen, but by trust in what I have already prepared. For a long time, you have moved cautiously through your days, bracing for disappointment before it ever arrived, holding your hopes loosely so they would hurt less if they fell through. I am calling you out of that posture now, into something far more spacious and free. This new season will not always look dramatic on the outside. Sometimes the deepest shifts happen quietly, in the way you carry yourself, in the calm that settles over your decisions, in the steadiness that others begin to notice even before you fully recognize it in yourself. You will walk into rooms differently. You will speak with a settled certainty that was not always there. People may not be able to name what has changed about you, but they will feel it. I am releasing you from old patterns that kept you small. Patterns built on the belief that you had to earn rest, that you had to prove your worth before you could relax into who you are. Those patterns served a purpose for a time, perhaps even protecting you when you needed protection. But they are no longer necessary, and holding on to them now would only slow the freedom I am inviting you into. Let me bless you as you step into this new way of living. May the clarity you have gained never fade, but grow sharper with each passing day. May the peace settling over your spirit prove unshakable, even when circumstances around you shift unpredictably. May your relationships be marked by honesty and depth, free from the hidden agendas that once clouded them. May your work bear fruit that lasts, blessing not only you but everyone whose life you touch. May you sleep soundly, without the restlessness that once kept you awake with unnamed worry. May you wake each morning with a sense of purpose, rather than dread. May the doors that once seemed permanently closed swing open at exactly the right time, neither too early nor too late, but precisely when you are ready to walk through them. May provision meet you at every turn, not through striving, but through the steady, faithful flow of my care for you. I bless your mind with clarity that cuts through confusion. I bless your heart with courage that does not depend on certainty about every outcome. I bless your spirit with a quiet strength that others will draw from, even when you do not realize you are offering it. You are becoming a place of refuge for those around you, not because you have all the answers, but because the peace I have placed in you overflows naturally into the spaces you occupy. This new season asks something of you in return, not as a price to be paid, but as a natural response to what you have received. I ask you to walk gently with others who are still where you used to be, still caught in seasons of unexplained heaviness. You now carry an understanding that can comfort them, simply by your presence, simply by the steadiness you now embody. Do not rush past those who are still walking through their own difficult seasons. Your story of restoration is not only for your own benefit. It is meant to become a light for others who are still finding their way through darkness. You do not need to explain everything that happened to you or convince anyone of what I have done. You only need to live differently and let that difference speak for itself. As you move forward, hold loosely to your old understanding of what your life was supposed to look like. I am building something better than what you originally planned, something that fits the person you are becoming rather than the person you used to be. Release any attachment to old timelines or old definitions of success. What I have prepared exceeds what you could have designed on your own, and trying to force your new season into an old shape will only limit what I am able to give you. There is a freedom in not needing to control every outcome, in trusting that the same hand that brought you through the hidden struggles of the past will continue to guide you through whatever lies ahead. Rest in that freedom now. You have done the hard work of enduring. Let this season be one of receiving rather than striving, of trusting rather than forcing, of walking gently into what I have already prepared. I know that letting go of old striving does not happen instantly. You have spent so long pushing, working, trying to secure your own outcomes, that rest can feel almost uncomfortable at first, like an unfamiliar posture for a body used to constant motion. Be patient with yourself as you learn this new rhythm. It is not a failure to need time adjusting to peace after so long spent adjusting to struggle. Notice how differently you respond now to situations that once would have overwhelmed you. A delay that once would have sent you into anxious spiraling now meets a steadier version of you. One who can wait without panic because you trust the one who holds the timing. A disappointment that once would have confirmed your deepest fears now meets a version of you who can grieve briefly and then keep moving forward. This steadiness you are developing is not something you manufactured through effort. It is the natural result of the work I have been doing beneath the surface. Work that began long before you could see its effects. You are not becoming stronger through your own willpower alone. You are becoming stronger because you are rooted more deeply in me, and roots determine how well anything withstands a storm. Let this new way of living take its time settling into every part of your life. Some areas will shift quickly, almost overnight. Others will take longer, requiring patience and continued trust. Both are normal. Both are part of the same process of becoming who I have always intended you to be. My precious one, we have walked together through this message. From the moment I asked you to notice the weight you carried, through the unveiling of what worked against you in secret, and into the restoration now taking root in your life. I want you to hold all of this not as a single event to remember fondly, but as the beginning of an ongoing way of living, one marked by trust, by peace, and by a steady awareness of my presence with you. You did not arrive at this message by accident. I have been preparing this moment for longer than you realize, waiting for the right time when your heart would be ready to receive it fully. The timing of this message is as intentional as everything else I have done in your life, and I want you to trust that intention completely. As you move forward from here, I'm asking you to carry a settled confidence into every situation you face. Not the kind of confidence that depends on having all the answers, but the kind that rests in knowing who holds the answers, even when you do not. This confidence will steady you in conversations that once would have left you anxious. It will steady you in decisions that once would have paralyzed you with uncertainty. It will steady you simply in the ordinary moments of your days, giving you a quiet assurance that was not always there before. I want to remind you, one final time, that nothing you faced in the hidden seasons of struggle was wasted. Every difficult night, every unexplained heaviness, every moment you wondered if anyone truly saw what you were going through, all of it was seen. All of it mattered, and all of it has been woven into a story far greater than the struggle itself. You are not the same person who first felt that weight settle over your life. You have been refined, strengthened, and prepared for what comes next. Do not look back with regret at how long the difficult season lasted. Time spent in genuine struggle is never truly wasted when it produces depth, compassion, and a faith that has been tested and found sound. You now carry something many people never develop, a tested trust, a faith that has walked through fire and emerged not destroyed, but purified. As you step forward, remember that you are not walking this path alone. I am with you in the quiet moments and the loud ones, in the easy decisions and the difficult ones, in the seasons of clarity and the seasons that still feel uncertain. My presence does not depend on your feelings about it. It is constant, whether you sense it strongly or barely sense it at all. Lean into that constancy, especially on days when your emotions feel unsteady. I want you to release any pressure to have everything figured out before you move forward. Faith does not require complete understanding. It requires willingness to take the next step with the information you currently have, trusting that more clarity will come as you continue walking. You do not need a map of your entire future today. You only need enough light to take the next step, and I am providing exactly that. Let this message become something you return to whenever doubt creeps back in, whenever old fears whisper that nothing has truly changed. Remind yourself in those moments of the truth you have received here. The hidden struggles have been addressed. The restoration is underway. The ceiling over your life is permanent. None of this depends on your ability to feel certain about it every single day. It remains true whether you feel it strongly or not. I am asking you now to walk forward with your head lifted, not in arrogance, but in the quiet dignity of someone who knows they are deeply loved and carefully watched over. Let go of the smallness that fear once taught you. Let go of the habit of shrinking to avoid attention, of staying quiet to avoid conflict, of holding back your full self because it once felt safer than being fully seen. You are safe now to be fully who you are. There will be people who notice the change in you and respond with curiosity, even warmth, drawn to whatever has shifted in how you carry yourself. There will also be people who respond with discomfort, unsettled by a version of you that no longer shrinks to make others comfortable. You do not need to manage how others react to your growth. You only need to keep growing. My love for you does not fluctuate with your performance, your mood, or your circumstances. It has remained constant through every season you have walked, the difficult ones and the peaceful ones alike. As you close this message and step back into your day, carry that constancy with you. Let it anchor you when things feel uncertain. Let it comfort you when old fears resurface. Let it remind you, again and again, that you are held, you are seen, and you are deeply, unchangeably loved. Even in the ordinary moments ahead, the meals you share, the work you return to, the small conversations that fill your days, I will be present in ways you may not always notice, but will always be real. Faith is not only built in dramatic moments of revelation like this one, it is built in the quiet repetition of ordinary days, lived with an awareness that you are not walking through them alone. Let this truth settle into the rhythm of your everyday life, not just into the high points of clarity. This is not the end of what I am saying to you. It is simply the close of this particular message, one chapter in an ongoing conversation between us that will continue for as long as you keep listening. Stay open, stay attentive, stay close to me and watch how the rest of this story unfolds, with a peace and a clarity that will carry you further than you ever imagined possible. Declare your faith one final time today. Say, I am yours and I will walk forward in peace.
We run on viewer support only. For exclusive member-only content, scan the QR or see the pinned comment. God bless you.